All right, welcome in. It is $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk. I just locked in a 4% play before the show. I haven't put the $5 brick up yet, but it's coming as soon as we're done here. My two co-hosts will have $5 plays as well, as will the rest of the site. So welcome in, Bryan Leonard, Tokyo Brandon. It is time for Total Bases. Bryan, I'll go to you first. How did the NHL go last night? How did everything go? And kick us off on Red Sox Yankees. The first of a couple big rivalries on the bases today.
Well, in baseball, we won our only play. We had the first half under in the A's game. Hockey, not so well. I had Ottawa, a big underdog, like plus 135. Took it to double overtime before they lost. So it's a tough way to lose for a 5% play in our clients. I'm not afraid of playing underdogs. So you're not going to get the big favorites if you buy from me. I thought there was value there, and it showed that there was value because it took them to double overtime. But the end result is a loss, so we've got to admit that. But, yeah, baseball was good again yesterday, just a small play on yesterday's card. Our line service on our site is currently down, and that's the one I usually use. So this is going to be – it shows going to be slightly different. Is Adam's got a couple other ones up, and he can take a look at that. But the Yankees are playing the Red Sox. Luis Gil, the righty, is on the road against the Red Sox in apparently early. And Early's a guy who I like. I prefer him much more over Gil. Gil has walk problems. Early's had some walk problems also, but Gil is a guy I talked about in the past when he's in a good hitting environment. Which is just about all the time when he's playing at Yankee Stadium. And in that division, there's a lot of good hitting ballparks. I don't want him because he just puts too many guys on base from the walk. He's tried to change that in the offseason, but we'll see how it goes. I just haven't seen enough out of him to think anything has changed. The Red Sox bullpen had to use all but one player yesterday, and that guy threw 41 pitches the day before. So the Yankees bullpen is in much better shape, than the Red Sox bullpen. So I hate to be like kind of a joke here, but if I like the Red Sox, I like them early. And if you like the Yankees, I like them late. So at this point, the line is about where I thought it was going to be. So I'm probably not going to get involved in this one. Two teams who have been disappointing hitting-wise on the season. They've got much better hitters than what they have shown, but when's that going to break out, especially for Boston? It's right when you think that the hitting starts to come around, they struggle once again. So teams right now, I'm not looking to back with my strongest opinions at this point.
Yeah, Tokyo Brandon, let's bring you in here. Red Sox, Yankees, the Red Sox, the bats, I guess, wake up yesterday to get a 8-6 win on Patriot Day. Now they have to turn around from the 11 a.m. start. You know, that's an interesting sort of angle in this one where it's like, that's a holiday in Boston. It's a pretty crazy day. I mean, it's like everyone has the day off. It's people start drinking early. It's like a big thing. Marathons going, the game at 11 a.m. So I don't know how much any of that, like, you know, if the players like feel that at all. But the point is, it's kind of like it's like a thing. They go out, play the 11 a.m. game. Now they have to turn around and get up for the Yankees. Does that sort of creep into your thought process here at all, or just kind of noise and it's just Red Sox Yankees like any other day would be?
Yeah, yesterday I had the under in the Royals game, and it was 1-0 going in the 9th inning.
So 2 outs. That's terrible. Those are both just atrocious.
Pretty good about it. And actually, you know, actually not the under in the game, but I had the Royals under 4.5. And going into the 10th inning, you know, if they hadn't hit that double, I would have won the game. And they still lost the game. It was just meaningless runs. So that was kind of annoying. But I did have the Braves as well. And I had the Braves game over the Nats over. I thought 8 for that game was way too low. So it was a decent day. Not great, but yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for a boom day. And yes, Adam mentioned it's $5 Tuesday. I also have 4% play out today. So you can get a double play from us, but actually everything on wagertalk.com is either free or $5 today. So you might as well go to wagertalk.com and have a bonanza. Cause we all put free picks out, and we all have $5 plays as well for clients. Let's get to the Yankees Red Sox. I'm going to disagree with Brian here. I like Heel a lot better than I like Early, actually. I just like him. I think his numbers against the Red Sox are good. Early's been crushed by the Yankees, and I think, well, sample sizes are small, but I like Heel. I actually like him a lot, and my rankings like him too. So I like the Yankees here. The one thing I don't like about the Yankees, so I'm going to be the ultimate opposite of Brian. The one thing I don't like about the Yankees is the bullpen. So actually, after listening to Brian, though, maybe I'll back the Yankees and just trust that bullpen today after what he said, because when I looked at the numbers, I liked everything about the Yankees except the bullpen. But then again, I've been known to badmouth teams, and then they come out and shut me up, like the Milwaukee Brewers last year, Boston Red Sox. So who knows? But I would back the Yankees here. So Adam, you can be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I like the Red Sox. I've kind of made it clear that I'm pretty high on Connolly Early. I guess Heel's more proven, but he hasn't looked good so far this year. I mean, if we're that, now that is a small sample. It's worth, saying that like this year is a small sample. Luis Heel's only had 2 starts. I think he may have had 1 in Scranton. I haven't pulled up I feel like I remember him pitching in Scranton, or like having a rehab start at the beginning of the year, but his 2 big league starts, didn't get out of, only made it 4 against the Rays, gave up 3 runs, made it 5 against the Angels, gave up 4 runs. I don't know if that yesterday is, because here's the thing. Remember, the Red Sox, they beat the Twins 9-1 in what was like a favorable spot for them. And then they came out and it took them 10 innings to score a single run against the Tigers. So it's like, it's hard to like kind of gauge, like, did the Red Sox just have a good day yesterday? Were the Tigers just put off a little bit by playing an 11 a.m. game? I do want to see something like a little bit more sustainable from the Red Sox, because at the same time, TB, you're right. Like, if Luis Heel is what he's capable of, right? Like, if you go back and look at what he's been the last 2 seasons when he's healthy, last year, 3.32 ERA, pretty good season. 2024 was actually his very good year. That was with the, a mid-3s ERA at 151 2/3 innings, a nice like 1.19 whip. Like, I get, it's hard to sort of like want to jump in with really either of these teams at this point, because here's the thing. I don't want to bet against the Red Sox because I think they're better than this 9-13. I think they have a breakout coming at this point, but I don't know if I really want to fade the Yankees here either. It is a tricky game. It's obviously a big rivalry. If you forced me to pick, I am higher on Early than I am on Heel, and the Red Sox did win yesterday. So at -105, again, though, I don't see, Brian, this is -105 both ways. I don't see a ton of value here. It really does feel like a coin flip type game. It's hard to like, it's a tough game that, lead Red Sox just to break the tie, but I'm not like adamant about going against you here. Here's one I do have a little bit of a stronger opinion on this one. So let's go to this game. Garth says 4-0 on plays given out here so far. I do remember he won the other day, so that's awesome. We appreciate that. We appreciate the donation. So he wants to talk the Mets tonight. He says tonight, Mets team total under 4.5, 18-4 to the under this season, and only went over once on the current losing streak. That's a great stat, Garth. That's good stuff right there. 11-game losing streak, Bryan Leonard. I teased that earlier in the week. I said, you know what? This losing streak could be prolonged. It's now to 11 games. Garth likes the under. It looks like the team total under 4.5. Brian, I like the Mets. I kind of love the Mets here. I think they win tonight. What do you think about that?
Well, giving props to our people in the chat, there was somebody yesterday that talked about getting 20 strikeouts in that Baltimore game. And I kind of poo-pooed it. Hey, congrats to you. They had 27 strikeouts. Now, I did go 12 innings, but that was a hell of a call. I forgot who put that up, but that was pretty amazing. It's at the end of the game when I still can't believe that the Baltimore pitcher got away with only giving up 1 home run and 1 run as bad as he pitched. I think he had 13 batters reach base against them in 5 innings.
I think the Royals left like 15 guys on base or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one strange box score that you don't see very often. Woods Richardson going for Minnesota against McLean. McLean's a better pitcher, obviously. The Mets should be the better team, but this Mets team right now, it's tough to put some faith in them. I agree. If there was a spot, this is the spot for the Mets. Minnesota's a team that's been playing over their heads, now getting some real reality starting for their team. And the Mets, if you take it, I always talk about the deserve to win meter. The Mets right now are the second most unlucky team behind Seattle. Seattle should have 13.6 wins. They have 10. The Mets should have 10.3. They have 7. Well, they're 7-15, but if they're 10.3, they're 10.3 and 11.7, which puts them at 46% win percentage or something. So the Mets are better than what they have shown, but it takes some gumption to be able to play them here. I think McLean's supposed to go about 6 innings here. 7.2 strikeouts is what I've got listed for him. He should be able to have a field day with his strikeouts, especially for a team that is in the other league and doesn't see him. His pitches move all over the place. Just amazing what he can do. Richardson's a guy that we thought was going to improve coming into the season. He had a good second half last year, and he continues to struggle a little bit. He doesn't walk many players, but he doesn't strike them out either. It's the Mets or nothing for me, and thank God I don't have to play the Mets because there's other games on the board.
Yeah, Tokyo Brandon, it's the Mets for nothing for me too. But the one thing that does sort of put me off is the price. Like a team loses 11 straight. I feel like I should get a little bit better than minus 175, which actually came down a little bit. It was minus, I think, 190 at one point. At least I saw that on one of the books, the popular books that you guys probably have access to. So that's what's keeping me off right now. But from a matchup standpoint, I mean, listen, Nolan McLean, Woods Richardson. Like, that's a pretty big difference. And I still think with the bullpen issues the Twins are having, like, I'd still rather have the Mets. I'll send this one to you. Twins, Mets, and anything on the total for Garth.
So I put out a free video on WagerTalk's YouTube channel. They'll probably publish it in the next hour or so. I'm taking the over 7.5 in this one because I think the Mets might be able to get there themselves. Woods Richardson is a horrible pitcher, in my opinion. I've watched him. He's bad. And the Mets are not hitting. I got them ranked 29 out of 30. But if there's anything that's going to get your bats going, it's going to be going up against a pitcher like this. And Minnesota's bullpen is not performing very well either. So keep that in mind. Perhaps a Mets team total, but why not just take the full game? I think Minnesota is crushing the ball. They're hitting really well, and I don't know how they're doing it, but they are. They're kind of like the Rays, they're not really known for crushing the ball, but they really are right now. I think they can get a couple runs on McLean, and I think the Mets can get. I think this is more like a 5-3 kind of game. I think this will get to 8 runs. Mets bullpen, so-so. Twins bullpen is awful right now in current form, and we got one awful pitcher and one really good lineup. I think this will get over 7.5. And if you don't like that, I would take the Mets too, but I just don't know if they can score. That's the only problem. I mean, their lineup is so bad right now. But yeah, like I said, if anything's going to wake their bats up, it's facing this guy.
For me, I think you just take both. Listen, both of these teams had a terrible weekend. Well, the Mets have had a terrible week and a half. The Twins had an awful weekend. You talked about the bullpen, TV, that it imploded multiple times, and that is an issue for the Twins. That is the biggest issue for the Twins this year. They really don't have much down in that bullpen. If you remember last trade deadline, anyone with a working arm, they shipped out. Johan Duran, Griffin Jacks, Louis Varland, like anyone that could reach home plate, they sent away, and they're still recovering from that in the bullpen. What you're betting on here, in my opinion, is one thing, and that's Nolan McLean. He is an absolute stud. He is, even in the losing streak, 6 1/3, 8 strikeouts, 2 runs. Last time out against the Dodgers, destroyed him. 7 innings, 1 hit or 1 run on 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. That's the elite. He's elite. And again, I saw someone in the chat, Mets -1. Like, if the Mets can get McClain a couple runs here, this is going to be cruise control. Like, I think he's just going to coast, and then he's going to get the Mets a win. So that is the very strong opinion here to the Mets for me. I just don't know what to, I know you, TB, you kind of look at the -1 as an option. I feel like that might be the play here.
Yeah, -1, you can knock about 35 cents off the price, bring it to about a -140 or -130. I think playing the Mets -130, the thing about a -1 is there's no risk. I mean, if your team wins, you either get your money back or you win. So it's much, much safer than a -1.5. It's like pie guy poker.
I don't do it often, and especially with a home team, but the thought of being able to get action on the Mets, not lose if they win the game. If I can get that under -130, I may go the Tokyo Brandon route and do that. And then Steve Duke in the chat, Woods Richardson, he's I use the term 4A, meaning like he's probably wasn't even going to stay in the rotation much longer, but I think Mick Abel is headed to the IL. You want to talk about another, I think I saw he got hurt and he might be headed to the IL. You want to talk about kind of a backbreaker for the Twins. That's a tough one. And that's probably going to keep Woods Richardson in the rotation for the time being. So, yeah, I like the Mets in this spot. And I'm going to go to Brian here. When the Mets win a game, I'm going to start backing them probably on a daily basis if the number is good. Go ahead, Brian.
You should be able to do that. I will point out that the Mets, according to my computer, have a 33% chance of winning the game by 1. So if you can save more than 33% off of the line, then that's a good bet.
If you don't win,
Colin,
it's good.
Colin, unfortunately,
I got poker, right, Brian?
Colin, unfortunately, Zebby hasn't looked very good at AAA. That's been the issue. He was okay last time out. He was getting mauled at AAA, and I hyped the Twins up considerably, and I after this week. And then the tough week the Twins having up, I believe they go to Tampa after the Mets series. I've got my concerns on that one. Bryan Leonard, I'm going to come to you on a spot that you had circled for us last week that you had some concerns on. And that was going to be when Parker Messick pitches again, which is going to be tonight. Up against the Astros, up against Tokyo Brandon and my guy Ryan Weiss, former Hanwha Eagle on the mound for the Astros. So talk to me about that spot, because I want to like the Guardians in this spot, but I've got you in my head from last week saying, hey, Messick might be a fade this time around.
Yeah. I hate to say it because I love the guy, but I don't think he's going to have the same effect, especially for a young guy. He seems very level-headed. And you have to be to take a game into the with a chance for the no-hitter going that long. But yeah, that's the problem with Cleveland. If you take a look at the Cleveland bullpen, it's in pretty good shape. Yesterday, Herron and Brogdon and Festa pitched, not very effectively, by the way. But Cade Smith hasn't pitched in 2 days. And I had some worries about Cade Smith earlier, but his ball had more movement on it. And he throws the ball hard, but you have to have the movement. That's what he had been lacking. But last time out, he threw 15 pitches on Saturday and got the save. He looked like the old Cade Smith. Hunter Gaddis the last 2 days off, and Sabrowski the day off before that, and Armstrong off. So their key 4 guys in the bullpen will all be available here. Parker Messick, if you take a look at the last 2 weeks, he's rated as the number 7 pitcher in baseball. He deserves it. Kevin Williams is 8th. So these 2 guys have really been excellent lately for the Guardians. I still have major concerns about the Cleveland hitting, and that's not going to change in this one. We're looking at basically the Guardians at about, from what I could tell, about a 145 to 150 favorite, and you're getting a catchback of about 120 to 125 on the Astros. Weiss going for Houston, and I've heard better things about him coming into the season. He hasn't lived up to anything. We will see. Houston yesterday, the bats come out. Houston's just knocking the hell out of the ball right now. If you take a look at on the season here. They have just been terrific in hitting all season long. He's been one of the top teams in baseball. Cleveland's one of the worst. But do I want to? We've got a clear pitching advantage here for Cleveland. I don't know if I want to lay it, so I'll be sitting this one out. It'll be an interesting watch. I hope they don't let Messick go more than like 5 innings. I hope they pull him early. Hopefully they've got like a 5-0 lead or something at that point, and they can pull him early, because you don't want him to get in the habit of throwing that deep. He'll never make it through the end of the season.
Tokyo Brandon, Ethan Bainbridge says Messick under 16.5 outs. I know you're always kind of tuned into the outs over unders. What do you say about that?
So if you take a look at my Twitter X, about an hour before the show, I put up every starter today and my projected outs for them. And I have Messick at, where is he? I have him getting 20 outs in this game. That might be a little optimistic. Yeah, I know. Going past 6 innings might be a little optimistic, but that's what he projects at. Granted, he's only made 4 starts. So the sample size is a little small. So the projections might be a little skewed, but my numbers are saying he's going to go over. Regarding the Astros, I think they get shut down today. The Astros are the only team out of all the teams I rank that rank below 21 in every category. I think they're going to get shut down here. I would take an Astros team total under, perhaps. I like how Cleveland's bullpen is performing. I like how their hitting is performing. They're above mediocre in my rankings for both of those, where the Astros bullpen has been the beginning of their team name, ass. So, yeah, if you take the Astros today, you have a lot of testicular fortitude. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
No, I wouldn't do that either. I like the Guardians. I want to talk about Ryan Weiss for a second. Just an observation I've had with him. So typically KBO guys that come back and end up on a big league club that have had success have all been like former big leaguers, right? Eric Lauer, Eric Fetty, like these guys they were in the big leagues, had their, they played enough, pitched enough in the big leagues to know how it is. They go to Korea, they tweak something. Fetty worked on a slider. Over the years, Chris Flexen like rebuilt himself and came back. Those are the guys that have had success. Ryan Weiss kind of fizzled out at AA in affiliated ball. I think he had a cup of coffee at AAA, maybe with Omaha and Reno, and then he went over to Asia. I think he was in Taiwan. And so he is a kind of a different case where he like broke out in Korea. And I think the plan for the Astros was to have him in the starting rotation at Sugar Land. That was the plan. But they got hit with big time injury in the pitching department. Well, between Valdez goes to Detroit, and then they had all these sort of injuries. Hunter Brown goes down. There's depth injuries as well, to the point where the Astros had to make a decision, and they said, you know what? Let's start the season with Ryan Weiss in the bullpen. Okay, great, whatever. Makes his major league debut. Then another pitcher goes down. The guy from Japan gets hurt. Imai or whatever his name is.
Yep.
Suddenly, Ryan Weiss is in a big league starting rotation. He never really pitched at AAA. Tokyo Brandon and I had a famous argument last year about the level that we think KBO baseball is. And even though I'm not going to go as far as to say it's A-ball, because I was at A-ball games this weekend and it was a tough watch. Like the KBO is better than that. AAA is probably better than KBO if you're looking at like the rosters all the way across. So we agree on that. Weiss never really went to AAA and had that experience. Like I think he's in over his head right now. I just think he's in over his head.
Agreed.
And you look at the numbers, the whip is like 2. Then the Astros have bounced him around. Okay, he was in the bullpen. Then he came in a bulk role in altitude, never had a chance there. Then they just said, oh no, we don't have anyone else. Let's throw him into a starting rotation spot because he was starting games in KBO last year. I've watched like every inning he's thrown this year. The guy is just in over his head. He needs to be at Sugar Land, working with the pitching coaches down there, getting a start in AAA every 5th day. Until that happens, I think he's a fade. And so I like the Guardians for that reason.
Agree. If I can just throw something in there.
Go ahead.
I love the comment. Someone said, I can still hear Koken talking about betting Fetty. Yeah, Koken loved Fetty actually coming out of NC when he came over. And Fetty had a good season and then he kind of died away. Yeah, these pitchers who come over, they need a cushion and they're creatures of habit. They need stability. That's why you bring pitchers up slowly. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Weiss didn't get that luxury, and he's kind of paying a price for it right now.
It sucks because he's a dude that you want to root for. He's got a crazy story. Like the fact that he's in the big leagues is awesome, but it's just I've watched every inning he's thrown this year. I just feel like he's over his head at the big league level. And the Astros just unfortunately haven't been able to do anything about it because they just don't have. They're trying to build Arrighetti back up. They just don't have the arms at the AAA level to be able to, they're just in the mode where they're taking their lumps right now. And I think when you can find a spot like that where a team is sort of handcuffed into someone, look at Taijuan Walker and the money that you've been able to make off of him because the Phillies just, are kind of handcuffed into having him in the rotation. Hey, Tokyo Brandon, Woods Richardson might be that guy right now for the Twins. And we've already talked about him today as well.
Yep. There are a couple
good talking points. Yeah, good talking points right there. TV, I want to go to you because we have another rivalry out in the Bay Area tonight. The Dodgers are headed to San Francisco to take on the Giants off of a pretty, I don't know if it was a concerning weekend, but certainly the Dodgers should have done better than split a series in Colorado. I mean, that was a little bit eye-popping, but they got it done yesterday. Big blowout win. Are you on them tonight in the battle of Dodgers-Giants, Bay Area? I think this is also a last game on the board, 9:45 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. Dodgers are hands down the better team here. Rob's been pitching okay, but okay is not going to do it against this team, in my opinion. Look, Yamamoto, he pitches better on the road. If you look at his career stats, he's better on the road. And I think Ralph's been good, though. I've been burned going against him at least one time this year. So San Francisco's bullpen performing better than the Dodgers bullpen at the moment. Man, Trinan's got some problems. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know where he's at sometimes. And I've heard interviews of people on the Dodgers saying he's got the best stuff on the entire team, but he hasn't gotten it together. Scott's looked much better than he did last season, but this bullpen is struggling a little bit. And Diaz blew a save finally. So, the Dodgers bullpen is a slight disarray. I got him ranked 8th, though, so that's not anything horrible. Starting pitching, I actually have Raup, slightly ranked slightly higher than Yamamoto, but like I said, I don't put a lot of credence in these because they only have 3 starts under their belt. Once we get into next month, then I'll start putting a little more credence into those numbers. But the lineup is where I think the difference is here, and I don't think the travel or anything makes much of a difference in this game. I just think the Dodgers are a better team, and I think Yamamoto pitches better on the road than he does at home. So that would be the only way I could go in this. And of course you're going to have to pay the Dodger tax now. So a -1 might be a decent price to pay here.
Brian, Tokyo Brandon mentioned the Dodgers bullpen. Some tough news for them yesterday. It looks like Edwin Diaz is probably done until after the All-Star break. Maybe for the year. That it didn't sound great. Loose stuff in the elbow does not sound like something that it's going to be resolved in the year. So yeah, it's a valid point. How are you seeing Dodgers Giants?
Yeah, you look at the pitchers on the injury list for the Dodgers: Ben Caspareras, Jake Cousins, Edwin Diaz, Brewster Gratterall, Bobby Miller, Evan Phillips, Brock Stewart. There are probably 20 teams in Major League Baseball that would die for that bullpen. And they're all out right now for the Dodgers. I don't want anything to do with the Dodgers in this one. We talked in the past about teams leaving Colorado because of the way the ball moves. Basically, you're looking for fastballs in Colorado. And if you're a good fastball hitting team, you're going to have success. Now they got to go on the road, travel. I'm not worried about the traveling part, but I am worried about them leaving Colorado for 4 days where they're basically having batting practice, and then they come here to LA. Now, this is a good hitting ballpark for home runs, but this is a big rivalry game, which means more to San Francisco. And Landon Roop is a guy I want to bet. His numbers have been very good this year, and his advanced numbers are better. So I want a way to play San Francisco here. But it's always tough doing that against a team that has as much talent as the Dodgers. But it's either the Giants or nothing for me. And I'm not a big believer in the Giants bats, but hey, they know how to play in this stadium. Dodgers have been here many times. They probably are here just as much as anybody else. But for the Giants to be able to play in their home ballpark, and they know the winds. It's just a strange ballpark where the winds go all over the place. And that gives them a pretty good home advantage over a lot of the other ballparks that are basically like the cookie cutter ones that are out there that you played in one, you played in them all. The home advantage for San Francisco is pretty high here. So I kind of like the Giants. Probably need to find a way to look at them before I give out my plays today.
I'm going to use the Giants in the parlay. That's going to be my parlay league. Plus 1.5 is only like minus 115 right now. At least it was when I got on the show. I know we had a little, our odds logic was down for a minute, and I haven't checked to see if it's gotten back up. So I'm just going to sort of very quickly look at one book just to confirm that. I can't imagine it's moved a ton. I think we're probably still in the minus. Yeah, minus 115, minus 120 is fair for that. Agree with everything you said, Brian. And the one other thing I'll point out, I caught a good amount of the Nats Giants series this weekend. Giants looked like they were having fun for the first time all year, which is like super important for me because remember, they have a head coach that comes over from the college game. And right off the bat, first weekend of the season, Giants are losing games. The media is criticizing Vitello for his coaching style. Oh, maybe he's in over his head. He's going to lose the locker room, all of this stuff. And, as someone that kind of came into the season thinking the Giants were probably a little bit better than the market, that creeped into my head a little bit. I was like, yeah, that's a little valid. I mean, I don't know to this point, had we seen someone come from college baseball to manage a Major League Baseball team. I feel like that's like an unprecedented thing. And the thing is, if you watched his Tennessee teams, like, Drew Gilbert was on his Tennessee teams, that crazy attitude. Like I feel like that's kind of what he's going for. And that's kind of like player manager type thing. And it could have backfired, but I felt like it was working this weekend. They were like pretend boxing in the dugout. You just get the Giants in that national series. They looked like they were enjoying themselves. They took 2 of 3. And remember, they ended up going 3-3 on a road trip that could have derailed their season early on. If they don't at least split those games on the road trip. Now they come home 9-13. Brian, I'm with you. Like, I think they're going to come into this game with all sorts of energy. And you're getting a 1.5. We've talked about liking Landon Roop a lot. I like the Giants. That might be a client play. It's going to be it is going to be my parlay leg for the show, and I'm going to give this one some thought. That one might make my card. Speaking of, I don't know if you want to give something now that's going to make your card, Tokyo Brandon, but we'll certainly take a parlay leg from you if you got one.
Okay. Remember, guys, it's $5 Tuesday, so everything at WagerTalk.com is free or $5. Bargains aplenty.
Unless somebody has a 5%.
Yeah, our 5% plays are not $5. That's the only thing that's not $5. So yeah, good point. And so it's a bonanza time, guys. Go to WagerTalk.com and see what we have. Free plays, $5 plays galore. So today we would recommend not getting our double play, but buying our $5 plays. And if we win, back us again and keep going. That's how we would go on that one. So for the parlay leg, I'm a little torn here, but I think I'm going to go with the Cubs.
Hey. Choose a different one. That's mine.
Oh, you have one? Okay, no problem. No problem. Because I'm kind of up in the air right now. I don't really know what to choose, to be honest. So
TB,
okay,
do
I'll
you
go.
mind if you want to kick us off? Can we just talk about that game and then we'll go to you for yours?
Sure. I'll decide while you're.
I don't want to steal his play if that's the only one he had, but since you said he had a couple.
No, I had a couple that I was debating.
Oh,
so yeah, you can have that one. Yeah, go for it.
No, you can kick us off, TB, and then we'll go to Brian. Let's
go.
do the full treatment on that game. That's a big one.
You know, I like to cheat on our parlay leg, so I'm going to take the Padres today. Randy Vasquez, I know people don't like him, but the Rockies are undecided on their starter, and as you know, I don't like teams that can't pick who they're starting the games. And the Padres are playing pretty well right now. I think they're going to go into Colorado and take this one. So I'll take the Padres on the money line for my parlay leg.
All right. I mean, we're going to hit two more games anyway. So let's do Padres Rockies quick, and then we'll let Brian kick off the Cubs game. Rockies do have it. It's going to be Chase Dollander. It's just he's likely behind an opener. He looked really good. He looked really good his last time out. I mean, for what it's worth, he's a guy like Brian. I think you've really highlighted this a couple times on the show where the Rockies seem to just not be able to develop guys past AAA. I mean, Dollander was like a former top 5 pick or top 10 pick. And, but that might be changing. They've got some new guys. They've actually got a developmental system. It looks like they're trying to put in place now. And he's now been up a couple of years. He looks like he's starting to figure it out. So what I think you're going to get from the Rockies here is opener. Last time he pitched, they used Mejia as the opener and then went to Dollander. I think you're going to see that again. Rockies look good over the weekend. I don't know. I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of the season. That Rockies plus 1.5 is going to continue to pay dividends, and it did all weekend, and it probably does in this series as well. Brian, anything Rockies Padres before we move on?
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, Bernardino, the lefty, will be the opener in this game. And I agree, Dollander has looked a lot better. He's gaining confidence. And speaking of confidence, the Rockies just split a 4-game series with the Dodgers at home. They're coming into this excited. This is a young team that's having better success than they've had in the past. And hey, if you're a Rockies fan, say, hey, we just we might have got blown out a couple of games, but we ended up taking 2 out of the 4 against the Dodgers, and now we're getting the Padres coming in. I do like Randy Vasquez, but do I like San Diego enough to lay this type of number? Probably not. So, it would be the Rockies, maybe plus 1.5. I don't know what the lines are, obviously, because their line service is down, but it's something to keep in mind. I'm probably not going to get involved in the game, but the Rockies are a team I want to find some reasons to bet on right now, and because they continue to be undervalued in the betting market.
Brian, I'm going to stay with you. Steve Duke says we are on the Cubs today. I guess I like it, though. You teased it, so tell us why you like the Cubs in this matchup.
Well, you've got the Phillies and the Cubs, a couple of really good lefties. Jesus Luzardo against Imanaga. Imanaga has been a guy who we loved coming into the season, and he has done nothing to change our mind on it. He is definitely back to where he was 2 years ago, and you're getting the Cubs right now at basically about a 120 favorite because they're playing a team that says Phillies on their chest. And this Phillies team is not the same team as they were in the past, and they continue to struggle. Luzardo, I expect to go. Both these starters probably going to go 5.5 innings, something like that, 5 2/3. They're very comparable. I like both of them, but when you take a look at what they've done against lefties, and it's the only way you could play this game is the Cubs. The Cubs have a 125 WRC plus on the season versus lefties. Philadelphia Phillies, 59. And that's the worst in baseball. Texas has got a 62. So you've got a Phillies team with a lot of aging guys on this team that they have to face off against a really tough lefty. Schwarber's a lefty. Harper's a lefty. Marsh is a lefty. Stott, Crawford. So they've got a lot of guys here that are going to struggle in this game from everything that I could tell. And I really like the pitching for the Cubs in this one. From a bullpen standpoint, Philadelphia's bullpen comes in pretty good shape. Keller and Alvarado haven't pitched the last 2 days. Nobody pitched yesterday. That is a main concern in that one. And for the Cubs, Thielbar pitched 2 of the last 3. He's the supposed ninth inning guy now without Palencia out there who got hurt. But Ben Brown's a guy that I think may end up with it. The guy's had great stuff all along. He hasn't pitched since Saturday. And so their bullpen's also in a pretty good spot here. But I like the Cubs hitting much better than I like the Phillies in this one. You're getting them at home minus 120.
Tokyo Brandon, here is my, I said yesterday on the show that I sort of made a mistake on Sunday going, betting the Phillies in hindsight. And listen, it's easy to say that after a team loses, but here's why I think that here's what I took from that game. The Phillies right now, outside of Harper, Schwarber, Turner, have no lineup. And this was something I thought at the beginning of the year. It's like, oh, this is interesting because the kid Crawford, I think Justin Crawford had a really good season at Lehigh Valley last year. They'll just have guys step up. Stott will probably have a great season and they'll just be great, right? Wrong. They have no one in that lineup that produces outside of Schwarber, the big 3, Schwarber, Harper, Turner. When you get outside of those 3, this is a bad lineup. It's bad right now. The at-bats are terrible. You go and I look at the TV, I pull up the standings, a negative 42 run differential. It's the worst in Major League Baseball. I could only be on the Cubs here. And Brian, I actually think you're getting a discount on the Cubs. Cubs should be a bigger favorite in this game.
Totally agree with both of you. Phillies, if they had a different name on their jerseys, this line would not be what it is. But since the Phillies are perennial playoff contenders and NL champion contenders, perennially every single year, very well put together team, very good management, very well run team, which is why they're always good. But for some reason, they're not performing this season. And if you look at the rankings, like both of you have already said, so I won't harp on it too long, but their lineup is horrible right now. They're ranked 25 out of 30, where I got the Cubs ranked 2. Bullpen got the Phillies ranked 15, got the Cubs ranked 4. Imanaga on a curve of 30 got him ranked 4, and got Jesus is ranked 19. So don't bet against Jesus, but I think I might bet against Jesus today.
Mark Lambert says the Cubs should be minus 155. I don't know if it should be that high, but I make the Cubs minus 130. That's I had them in the minus. I'll usually do 5 cents. So I had minus 125 to minus 130 as the range I thought this game should be in. Obviously, it's tough to bet against a sort of a desperate team that's lost a bunch in a row and kind of needs a win. But the more I watch the Cubs, I came on and said, man, that Horton injury is really going to derail this team. And then Boyd goes down. They've kind of battled through it, and they're 13-9. I might be back in on the Cubs. Bryan Leonard, what do you think about that? I may be back in on the Cubs. I think they're going to be fine, and they might be just I'm way more in on the Cubs than I am on the Phillies at this point. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, I've never left the Cubs. I just thought that they had some bad luck in certain games. The Phillies right now, and it's not bad that you only have 3 or 4 guys that are hitting, but you've got 3 or 4 guys that are getting older that have injury concerns. Realmuto, the catcher, got hurt 2 days ago. He's been out of the lineup. So the drop off from him to the backup is pretty heavy. And to be honest with you, I don't really care for much of the guys on the Phillies bench. They've got some concerns there. The Philadelphia team is a team that may put it together and make the playoffs by the end of the season. But right now, you've got to fade them.
And if you're looking at futures, okay, because then you're worried the Cubs don't have the pitching. The Cubs have big league ready prospects at the AAA level, position players. They will, and they have Jackson Wiggins, who they're going to be careful with, but he's going to come out throwing 100 in the big leagues at some point this year. It's just a matter of when they're going to make that move. If they're going to be conservative like they were with Horton with him. But what I'm saying is they've got the pieces where they can go and get the top starting pitcher on the market if they really want to. They've got like 5 guys at the AAA level that any organization would look at being like they're really close to being a big leaguer. And that is always something you look at when you're betting futures is what does this team have to give away? The Cubs have plenty. And so, yeah, I think I like the Cubbies for that reason. Long term, Bryan Leonard likes them today. So that's going to be his parlay leg. -116 we'll go with on the Cubs. Tokyo Brandon is going Padres -140. And I'm going to go Giants +1.5, -115. Tokyo Brandon, give us one more promo before we hit the road.
Last promo. We do have our double play up, even though it's $5 Tuesday. So you can take 2 of us, whoever's the hottest or whoever you like, or whoever dresses the best. And you can pick 2 of us. and also it's $5 Tuesday. So everything on WagerTalk.com is free or $5 except the 5% plays.
Yeah, someone's like, Trey, you wear the same shirt every day. And it's like WagerTalk sent the hosts like a bunch of like gear and polos. And I am compensating for the fact that like I won't wear them during college basketball because I wear my team gear. So that's why I've been showing up in the WagerTalk gear on a daily basis. But I don't know. This is also like
I need my WagerTalk fur coat. Where's my WagerTalk fur coat?
That is honestly, we should like an orange and black. I think you should
with a big W on it.
I think that is a reasonable ask, TB. I think that is a reasonable ask.
And maybe a 100%. Cowboy hat. Maybe a cowboy hat with a W on it.
100%. I think that's a very reasonable ask right there.
We'll talk to Kelly.
All right. I think it's a reasonable ask, too, that we hit one of these parlays. I think another 2 out of 3 last night. We've been just missing them. We're on the brink of like probably hitting a couple of these and getting back into the plus. So let's make it this one today. Again, Tokyo Brandon Padres -140. Bryan Leonard Cubs -116. I'm going Giants +1.5, -115. That's your 3-teamer today. And the 3 of us will be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll see you guys then.